I've been wanting to do this interview for the longest time. I wanted to kind of interview my former roommates, Can Nguyen from Poreotics and Breena Ylaya. She's the but a model. And they recently got engaged. Actually, Can proposed to Bree the other day. So I was so excited to capture this journey. And also, I thought it was really kind of cool to kind of capture this moment where they're in transition. If you don't know, they're actually moving to Texas right now. So actually, they're already in Texas at the time of this shooting. But yeah, man, if you guys don't know, they're some of my best friends. We've been hanging out so much throughout the years. We actually met through Joe and living together, but it's kind of cool to see their whole journey of their relationship, how it first started and where it is now. So guys, if you guys are kind of curious about the development of relationships, how to find the one, I guess, this interview is going to be great. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys want me to do a part 2 with Bree and Can, please let me know. Also, make sure to check Bree and Can on their social media. Can is actually doing dance tutorials as well, so I'd highly recommend you check them out at You Can Move. I'll leave all the links below, so check them out. Anyways, let's just dive into it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Okay, let's
All right, let's do this. Let's have some fun. Anyways, guys, today I want to bring on my two former roommates, my really, really close friends in California that are leaving so soon. So I have Can and Bree. If you guys recognize them, yeah.
We're looking at this thing right now,
Yeah.
not that.
We're looking at the the lens.
The
and
lens?
stuff. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why I want to grab you guys on was just because I think well, first of all, congratulations with the engagement thing. So that's first thing. But second thing, like, it really depressed me when I found out you guys are moving to Texas, man.
Yeah.
Yep, we're moving to Texas. We're not going to tell you where because that's
It's a
personal.
big state, so you'll never find out.
Yeah, I think it's really cool just to catch like what's going on in your life, because it's been like this literally caught me out of the blue, and I thought it would be kind of cool to document your journey going to a different state, because I've done this like multiple times in my life and stuff, so I thought it'd be kind of cool. So dude, first of all, let's kind of talk about the engagement thing. Dude, how long were you planning this, man?
You know what? I think I've been planning it maybe for about 2 months.
Yeah.
The past 2 months. So it started off as a thought, and I was just like, hey, you know what? It's coming up to our 5th anniversary, and I'm thinking, well, I got to do something special, because it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I thought about the proposal, because we've been talking about marriage in the past where we're like, yeah, I'd be down, she'd be down.
Yeah, we've been talking about marriage since the day you met me. I'm just kidding.
Actually, I think the first time we talked about it was like maybe 2 years into our relationship, because by then we already kind of figured out our vibe, and we were kind of like, yeah, this could work, because it's so easy, right, quote unquote, to be together. And I feel like that's how it should feel. It shouldn't feel like, oh, we're arguing 24/7, or we have so many differences where it's just annoying to like hash out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think once we found that we were compatible, right, keyword,
Yeah.
we were just like, cool, let's just see how it goes. And I feel like 4 years is like not long enough to really know somebody. So we waited to the 5th year, and that's when I just kind of decided, you know what, I'm just going to make it happen, because this was before we found out we had to move.
Yeah.
So I already kind of committed in my head, and then I was like, okay, cool. And all I got to do is buy the ring, and then I bought the ring.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, now all I got to do is keep it a secret for 2 months. And that was probably the hardest part. So for the guys out there that have done proposals, you know what I'm talking about, planning it and like trying to hide that from her. Because like, especially if you have somebody that's like very like, what is this? What are you doing? What's on your phone? Like, and like, good thing
That's
she's not like.
I was like, that is definitely not me.
No, just kidding. No.
Yeah, so lucky for me, she trusts me enough to not have to like check my phone and all that. And honestly, stuff like that is like a blessing, because most girlfriends or boyfriends are very insecure, and they would like check people's stuff to make sure they're not cheating on them or like talking to someone else or something. And it's like, we didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So hiding it was actually not that hard. It was just trying to hold the excitement in. That was probably harder.
Yeah.
Really? So
yeah.
Bree, did you have like an inkling at all? Did you have an idea that like that he was planning this in the back?
Okay, so he he told me for the surprise on our 5 year, because he's like, okay, don't do a photo shoot, have that day free. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do that. That's no problem. It's our 5 year anniversary, right? And I was thinking, because he gave me an idea like that the surprise will be like blue or something, and then he realized a week later that, okay, maybe it's not blue, maybe it's black, because he was talking about where the ring is in,
Yeah, the box.
the ring box. And I was thinking, I had no clue what it would be, but the proposal definitely crossed my mind, but I didn't think that he would do it for our 5 year anniversary.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna eat, and that makes me pretty happy, like eating somewhere new,
She didn't think I had the guts to do it.
Not that. I just didn't think that you were ready and that this was time. I didn't think that this was our time, but I guess it was, because we were at Nest, our favorite tea place, and then he got down on one knee, and I was just like, what? I punched my thigh because I didn't know if I was awake. And I still have a bruise, actually.
You know
what? It's July 22nd. He proposed to me July 14th, which was our 5 year anniversary. So I still have the bruise from when I punched myself to see if I was awake.
Yeah, so I think sometimes you don't know when you're ready, but really being ready doesn't.
You can keep on going.
A lot of the times being ready just means like, are you confident in your own head that this is going to work out? Not so much like, oh, do we have enough money, or do we have enough time to, plan the wedding? Do we have our stuff together? And a lot of the times that it's never going to be, the right time. You just got to decide in your head when the right time is.
Yeah, it's kind of like the self-confidence to like kind of just figure out everything along the way too. You know what's really funny, man? It just kind of hit me like, dude, I've kind of witnessed your relationship since the beginning. Like since the first time you moved in the house, I was like, who's this girl, right?
Who is this girl?
Who's this girl living in the house? And it's kind of crazy. I even have a really old vlog of us going out to eat at a Korean bar, like, I don't know, that Korean place, that 24-hour spot we used to go to all the time.
Yes.
And I remember like trying to think of a clickbaity like title. It's like
my
Can and Bree getting married.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
Dude.
Oh, that's funny.
And here we are getting married.
Yes.
It's crazy, man. It's just like, man, watching it from like beginning to end. But I think your relationship, like from an outsider's point of view, right? Like, dude, you guys always had to kind of like your shit down for the most part, man.
We're
Like,
best friends.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We try really hard to, hide our abusive relationship
my
and our
gosh.
arguments, and I'm just kidding. We're just pretty much ourselves, and I feel like that's the best feeling, is when you could be yourself around someone and not feel like you're being judged, or you have to change how you are to feel like you're fitting.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Any other like secret tips about like finding the right person, or like any of that, man?
Dude, the
What do you
best.
have to say?
Okay. So the best advice I have to give for people that I want to get serious in a relationship is to literally just take it one step at a time. Whether that means let's be friends first, get to know each other first. Like, I know there's gonna be a feeling where you're gonna feel like, wow, I really like this person, but really, that's just your brain telling you like, oh, there's these chemicals, and hormones telling you like, oh, I really like this person. But really, like, if you just met them, there's no like evidence and facts, and there's nothing about this person that currently that justifies your reason for liking them. Like, you just met this person, so there's no way you could fall in love with someone that you just met. If you're just going off of like facts. Like personal facts about this person. Like, what do you actually know about this person? What do you like about this person? You don't know them, so how would you know what you would like, So get to know them. And sometimes that takes a couple of years. Sometimes for people it takes months. It just depends on how willing you are to be open. Right? Because some people are very closed off, so it's really hard to get to know someone. But then some people are so open that you just know them in like a few months. But then there's another thing. Once you know their personality, you have to know their living habits, or just their own personal habits, because these habits are really hard to change and to break. So if you're okay with these habits, then you're fine. But if it's like, let's say you get with someone after knowing them and then you start living with them, and then next thing you know, it turns out they're really dirty and like unorganized and like just stuff that's, little things, but those little things add up.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it
you
is.
really have to get to know a person like inside and out, and like this is who they are and I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Then cool. Then
Yeah.
then you move forward. You go, all right, now let's get serious.
That's the first. That's the first.
Yeah,
level,
like
right?
really get to
Understanding-
know someone. But honestly, you could also be the type of person to just take a risk. You just never know. It just depends on your lifestyle.
Yeah. How about you, Bree?
Hello. So for me, I like how you said that we've had our relationship like locked down from the beginning. And my reason for that is I've only been with one person before, but they couldn't be honest with me about who they were from the start. And I talked to Can for 3 months as a friend before we met each other. And he visited me in Indiana, which is where I'm from. And so he knows like my whole situation, and we just wanted to just be ourselves from the start because he knows that I'm not a judgmental person. We're both very open, and that's what made it so easy from the start because we had open communication and we knew what each other's past was. And yeah, just always have communication, and it really helps when you guys are best friends first too, I would say.
Yeah, because you guys literally have like the same interests. You guys do everything together. It's like, dude, it's so. It's
I love it.
Really, really.
I
cool.
love doing everything with you. Once I started to become a part of your life after like the year or second year into a relationship, we would just go everywhere together. We found our love for tea.
Yeah.
And then maybe the third year we found our love for board games. It was really fun to just like go everywhere together, and just know that this is like a best friendship, companionship, and a really good relationship. It feels really healthy,
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that you love me the same way.
Thanks. Thanks for your kind words.
Let me ask you this, guys. I guess like one thing I am kind of curious was like, okay, so you said around 4 years, it kind of you're like, I need a little bit more time, and this is your 5th year, right? And so like my question to you is like, what happened in between that like 4th and 5th year for you, at least, Can, right?
I think this whole past 2019 has just been a growing experience as every year. Honestly, I feel like I grow every year, and this was the year where I felt like, let's pause for a second.
Just
Hello.
documenting
1
the realness.
This is happening. Hi, we're gonna be recording.
Awesome.
Okay, what were we saying? Oh yeah, so in 2019, I feel like this was the year where I felt a lot of growth, like extreme growth, where I figured out what I really wanted to do in terms of my career and in terms of just like my purpose in life,
Yeah.
And then once you figure that out and figure out what you really want to do, all that's left is really feeling like I'm okay with myself. I don't need to like really chase after anything else because I've found something that's really worth it to work on, right? And once you find that and you it just kind of clicks in your head.
Yeah.
It's one of those feelings where once it clicks in your head, you just kind of go, okay, now that I feel this way, how do I want to behave? What decisions do I want to make, or what decisions can I make from here? Once you've like kind of reached that mind state.
So kind of like for you, it sounds like, you kind of gain like a lot more insight or direction or purpose within your own personal life, and that made everything else like you felt like you had a strong foundation, right?
Exactly. And also like not only do you find the purpose for yourself, but you kind of learn to be okay with yourself. And once you're mentally strong and you feel that self-confidence and you feel like the strength in yourself, you can now give that to others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's great, man. I'm kind of curious, Ken, and then I'll go on to you, Bree. But kind of curious, man, with you. What did you realize your purpose or that insight? Like, what was that one thing that you kind of figured out over the course of 2019?
It all started with my dance challenge, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I started that and I started doing something every day and challenged myself to do something that, it's not, I mean, yeah, it might be hard for some people to dance every single day, but
Gotta do it.
a lot of the times, it's like I had to find something that I really love doing and just try it every day and see, will I still love dancing after doing it for a year straight?
Yeah.
And once I started that, I realized, dude, like I'm not even getting tired of this, you know? Like there's some days where I don't feel like dancing, but it's not because of dance, it's because of life just like hitting you with stuff, right? But then like during this journey, I realized that, you know what, she's been helping me out a lot, and it'll kind of open my eyes to like the support from people all around me, and especially her. And she was just down to do it without any question, like, you know what I mean? And for someone to just be cool with that, it makes me feel like I have something really special that it can't be replaced. You know, this thing that we have. Look, I'm making her cry.
No.
I'm making her cry. Sorry.
No.
But anyway, you know what I mean though? Like once I started that and realized that even though this thing is very simple and it's just a challenge, it's not necessary even. You know what I mean? It's not even like a necessary thing to have. Like I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
You know? And once you could do something that you just feel like doing, it kind of sets you free. Even though I'm locked into this challenge, I actually feel more free, like
awesome.
mentally free.
Yeah, there's something about like setting a daily discipline that kind of frees you. And like, know what the cool thing about your story that you just shared right now is like, dude, by setting up a challenge, so many great things came out of it. Like like Bree got like it brought you and Bree a lot closer together because you guys had a common goal together, working together on something. But also, like I think, like business wise and everything wise, a lot of cool things came out of it. Like,
Oh,
dude, you
yeah.
have your own tutorials now. Like,
Yeah, I
it's-
feel like a lot of, like once I started that challenge, it inspired a lot of other people to start that challenge, and it helped me realize the importance of what I was doing, even though I was just starting it for fun almost.
yeah,
Like I realized how positively it could affect the dance community, or just the social media community, online community in general, when someone has something to look forward to every day.
yeah,
When you give somebody something to look forward to, it makes their lives a little better, because it's like now they have something to kind of quote unquote live for, you know?
yeah.
Even though it's just something simple. It's like, what do you look forward to every day? It's the simple things, honestly.
Yeah,
You know?
there's really no one thing for me, I guess, as well. But like, yeah, it's like usually simple things. I like waking up early. I like going to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
like
Yeah,
doing
and
YouTube
then
videos. Yeah.
when you have something like that, it's like you become a part of somebody's daily life
Yeah.
in that way,
Yeah.
right? People can't wait to see the next thing, and they're just like, you know, and it's gonna be sad when it stops, but like it's still like it brings people together for one purpose, you know, to watch this guy do something every day, you know, and it kind of inspires people to also want to try their own challenges or do something better in their lives and stuff. So once I realized that, I was like, well, I obviously can't stop now, because
Yeah.
you know, because the one day, like every day that I'm not dancing is like another person that's not inspired, you know.
Yeah, and I think that what's really cool about you, Ken, too, is like your career, your dance career has always been kind of shifting. You know what I mean? Like you did the whole ABDC type of thing, but didn't stop there. There was a period of time where you go on tour all the time, and now you're doing like this 365-day challenge. Like things keep on changing over and over.
Yeah, and I realized that as an artist, right, you're judged a lot by people because you're putting yourself out there, right? So you have to be open to criticism. So when you're doing things like creating your own achievements or creating your own challenges, it brings attention to that and a lot of criticism, and you have to be okay with that. But you also kind of are defined by what you do in life. You know, if you think about the history books, like what is Albert Einstein known for, or like what are people known for, right?
Yeah.
And how do you go down in history? Some people don't care about that, but like for me, ever since I started dancing, I feel like it's important to have some sort of legacy to leave behind, because that's just how I want to live my life. You know, I've always wanted that ever since I could think about that. You know, I always wanted to do something great, but I didn't know what. I just knew that I wanted to do something great.
Yeah.
because for me that feels like I fulfilled my purpose, you know. But the funny thing is, once we did do something great, which was like win ABDC, right?
Yeah.
I felt like, dude, the journey is barely beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
You're
then
19.
like
Yeah, I know,
but,
you're
but the
19
thing
when you
is like if I had never wanted to do something big, I would have never even gotten there and realized that there's actually more to life than just doing things and like achieving things, you know what I mean? But it's not about the achievements, it's about the process of achieving it. Like the growth.
The growth, the
Like
journey.
that's what I've discovered throughout this challenge is like, dude, I'm growing without even trying to grow. Like my intent was not to grow as a dancer. It was just to do something every day and be consistent.
Yeah.
You know, I set one goal for a purpose, but I realized that there are so many other benefits to
Yeah.
having that daily goal.
Yeah, there's this great saying, discipline equals freedom. And it sounds like, dude, that sounds exactly like your journey, man. I love it. And I'm not sure if you remember this, Ken, but do you remember when we first moved into the house together? Like, my goal was kind of become a little bit more creative.
Yes.
And your goal was to become a little more business savvy at the time.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. And
Yeah.
you know what? I love business because
Yeah.
like to me business is life. Like
Yeah.
the way you exchange things, the way you communicate
Yeah.
with people, you know, it all comes down to like what kind of human being are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the cool part is like, dude, I was at one extreme, you were at the other extreme, and like we're both as these years have come, like we're both like we're coming together, like we're meeting each other in the middle, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to circle back to Bree for a second. So earlier we were talking about Can feeling ready at the 4 to 5 year mark. I don't know what time frame you've kind of felt ready with the whole marriage thing, but I would love to kind of hear like that transition. When did you feel like, hey, you know, Can was definitely the one for you, and when were you kind of ready to just like, yeah, let's make this commitment real, man?
Oh, let's be real, man. I feel like I was ready probably like the third or fourth year, like for the thought of it, you know. But I think definitely the fourth year, because the whole fourth year, since it just now turned our fifth year, so the fourth year, within 2018, my grandma passed away, and I know that you told me that with the death in my family, and then with another cousin I had, that she just got married and then she lost her husband soon after, that you wanted to, you know, lock it in after such a sad story like that, right?
Yeah, because like I kind of wanted to just seal the deal, or not seal the deal, but just make that, you know, next step, right?
Yeah.
Decide on the next step, because I realized how precious life is, and you only have so long to live, right? And you can go at any moment and any time, and it's like if you don't take control of your life and just man up and do what you need to do and just decide, then you're not really living your life, you know?
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
So I feel like the third year was so amazing. You know, we got through that first and second year, and the third year, it's just been such a good time, you know. And then that fourth year, after the death in my family, I was like, man, I wish my grandma could see me get married, you know. So there was that. And then the death for my cousin's husband, I was like, well, we gotta get married, you know. Like that's just what I'm thinking in my head. So I was ready, definitely the fourth year. Like if you ask me, I'm down. And then the fifth year,
Yeah, the start of the fifth
the
year
start
was
of our
when it
fifth year,
happened.
that day you asked me, and I was like, yes, and you're like, yes. That was so
It was
funny.
a victory moment.
Yeah.
For sure.
He has the video on his Instagram. I like watch it every day
Yeah.
because it makes me happy.
Does it feel any different like now that you guys are engaged versus like before at all?
In our minds, yeah.
Yeah. in
Really?
our minds.
Yeah, of course. Because, like, well, for me, it feels like I've moved on to the next step, like, mentally. Now I can focus on other things. Not that I couldn't before, but now it just feels like I'm in a different mindset now that I've gotten this part out of the way, kind of, and now we're moving forward. Now it feels different to like, I don't know, tell people, like to communicate with our friends, like, oh yeah, this is my fiance, like stuff like that, little things, you know what I mean? It starts to feel different. But really, we're still the same people, but it's just the way we communicate now and like the way we see things now. It's going to be different. It's going to come from the perspective of people that are about to get married,
Yeah.
you know, instead of boyfriend, girlfriend, you know
Because
what I mean?
like when you, let's face it, I mean, boyfriend, girlfriend, at the end of the day, there's not really a strong foundation there. Like, it's just like really the first step of kind of commitment. But now that like, because think about it, when you had your first boyfriend or girlfriend back in the day, that didn't really mean that's the same title that we
Dude,
get.
yeah, the thing is, a lot of people that didn't care about titles and like back then, I get it. It's because when you're young, you don't think the title matters, right? But really, what is the title? It's just an establishment. You just say, okay, I'm gonna do this, so now it's gonna happen, and it's just your word, right? Once it's spoken and once it's communicated, now it's breathed into real life, and now can actually be a thing, versus like back then when you're dating, you're just like, oh, I don't care about a title because we're just friends, you know, let's see how it goes. And it's like, then, and that's fine, but you're just like, you're not really committing to anything, and that's fine. But just know that titles are important if you're trying to get serious.
Yeah, because it almost like, I don't know if you believe in the whole manifesting and stuff like that, but it's pretty much that exact thing that
it
you're
is.
talking
Yeah, you
about.
have to manifest it, say it out loud, talk to someone about it, and now it exists. Kind of thing, you know?
It's kind of like if you manifest like, hey, we're fuck buddies. That's actually that's
honestly,
what's gonna happen.
Like anything, you could say something like, yeah, we're just friends, and by you communicating that to people, they now can think a certain way, you know?
That makes sense.
There's like another thing that when you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, people are like, oh, well, they didn't put a ring on it, so you're basically free, you know? So that's another thing. So I think it's good now that I do have a ring on it. You can't mess with me. Ooh.
Yeah, it's almost like a protection, you know? Because like now when people hit on her, she can just be like,
I've
that.
literally like
She didn't have to
always
say
wanted
anything.
to be able to do this. Like that's why like my first boyfriend, like I wanted to like fake a relationship, like so, you know, but I couldn't do this. I can't go straight into marriage, but now it is about to be married.
yeah,
so.
see, it actually does something when you propose.
Do are people still like pretty? I mean, I know it's pretty recent, man, because it's only
Yeah,
what?
so
What's today? Like today is
It's Monday the 22nd.
22nd.
And it happened July 14th on a Sunday.
Yeah, so it's like not that.
Yeah.
It really,
It's only been a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
only
Been
literally
a week and a day.
Yeah. So I was gonna say if there's any difference between people hitting on you, are people a lot more respectful now? But it's
I feel
kind of
like
too soon.
I've been hanging out with like a lot of girls. So so I went to the Arsenic House on Friday, and like we were just all talking, and then they mentioned my ring. They really liked it, and then I was talking about him, and I was like, yeah, so my boyfriend this, my boyfriend that. They're like, your fiance, you have to say fiance now. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to get better at that, and you're trying to get better at it too.
I've been saying it every time.
Okay.
Dude, I love to kind of hear about the planning process. How did you get her
Excited.
like ring size and all that? Like,
Oh my
tell
God,
me
this is
about the whole
funny.
planning, man.
Dude, it's actually pretty hilarious
Funny.
because I was on Amazon.
Yeah.
You know, I was actually gonna not even buy the ring. I was just looking at other stuff.
Yeah.
And as I was looking at other stuff, I was like, wow, I'm about to spend like about $100 on stuff that I might or might not need. and then I thought about you know, our relationship, and I was like, dude, if I'm willing to spend this much on stuff right now, I might as well put that towards the ring. And then that prompted me to just, you know, search for the rings. I already knew her ring size because I did this thing where I was just like, hey, I'm gonna get a ring sizer just to see what your ring size is and my ring size is, just for fun. And I already
Was that a warning sign to you?
and you know what's funny? She didn't even think that I was gonna actually buy a ring, even after I showed her the ring sizer.
Okay, let's see what we
Yeah,
are.
I told her like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's just to see, you know. I just want to know, so
Yeah.
that I don't have to ask you later, because then it'd be too obvious.
Yeah.
You know. So I kind of made it seem like, oh, I'm just doing it now so that we don't have to, whatever, you know. And then after I found out her ring size, I just bought the ring, and then
Right
once
after?
it came home, it was like delivered at the door, and she was up. We were both upstairs, just waking up, and then I heard the doorbell ring. I was like, I just ran downstairs. I was like, oh my God, it's here, because like I had to hide it from her, you know. So I got it, and then she was like, "Oh, what was it?" And I was like, "Oh, it's nothing,
Oh my god.
Just some books.
just
Wow.
mail for someone else, And then I hid it under in like this drawer, and then
That is
after
so
that, I was just like, cool, it's out of her sight.
Yeah.
Now all I gotta do is wait and just plan like how I'm gonna do it. So the first step was to get the ring and then just leave it alone, put it away somewhere so nobody could find it. And then the second step was just to plan it. But here's the hard thing. I usually write things down when I plan things, but you can't write things down because it's a secret.
Yeah.
So if somebody finds all your plans, it's not good. So I had to plan it in my head. So I organized all my thoughts in my head, where to do it, when to do it, and then obviously I had to keep going over it in my head so I don't forget, because if you don't write it down, it's easy to forget something.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's this important, like I realized that it's actually not that hard to forget it if you already planned it in your head and it's this important, right? And then once I planned it in my head, after it took me about a month to like really just sit on it and think about it. And then I started to invite people and thinking like, well, okay, I can only invite people that both of us are cool with, and like both of us, really like love these friends and stuff, where they would actually care about it as well. Because you can't just invite people you like and then they come and they're like, oh, cool,
It's just like, oh yeah, cool guys, pat on the back, and that's it.
and, like we wanted it to be a special moment, not just for us, but for the friends that care about us, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure like I just invited one guy, and then
There's
I
8
thought,
friends there.
and then I just thought like, oh no, like there's more friends, but I can't text them all at the same time. It was really hard actually, because then if I text them all, she's gonna see the notifications on my phone. I know she doesn't check my phone, but you could easily just look at it and see like who's texting
when we
you.
navigate, we use your phone sometimes. And I was thinking back on it, like I didn't see anything.
Yeah, here's
like,
the thing.
ever.
I always give her my phone when I need like help with something. I'm like, hey, can you navigate? Hey, can you do this? And she always uses my phone. So I'm like, well, I can't text a lot.
I have my own phone too.
So that part was hard. So the way I coordinated was I texted one guy that knew most of my friends, and I told him to send a message to them. And I just kind of gave them a heads up, and I was like, hey, there's something special gonna happen. I didn't tell him what. And then I said, ask this guy for more details.
Yeah.
And then that's how
he gave them all the details.
Yeah. And then once that was planned, people were like, okay, cool. And even when I told people like, this is gonna happen, don't like, message me about it again. I'm deleting this text message, I let them know. And the day of, my phone starts blowing up, and they're just like, hey, where are you meeting, blah blah blah. And like they were just saying like, oh, congrats, and like I can't make it today, but congrats. And I'm like, dude,
no, it's funny,
stop.
I did hear a lot of ding ding dings. So I was like, oh, I'm so glad that Cam's getting all these messages.
I was getting so nervous that she would see one message, and I was like, whatever, like I can't do anything at this point, except just swipe and delete them all.
We weren't navigating though, because we already knew where Ness was. We were coming from a park where we were doing a photo shoot out with his friend. That was the first surprise.
I didn't tell her anything about what was going to happen on our anniversary. All I said was it's going to be a surprise. And then the day of, I was like, hey, we're doing a photo shoot with my friend.
I guess that's
and
surprise.
He was the guy that was like kind of helping me coordinate stuff. His name's Kane. I don't know if you know Kane. Oh yeah, so his name's Kane, and he was shooting our photos at the park. And that was the surprise, right? And then the next surprise was us just going to Nest to get tea, and that's where I was gonna do it. But she ended up
wanted to go.
Yeah, she was like, she didn't even know that I planned this, and she was like, "Oh man, like I actually want to get some Nest after this." I'm like, "Sure, that sounds like a great idea." So we ended up
my life easy, right?
Yeah, because I already knew that that's something we would do anyway. So I wanted to make it seem like a normal day. With just
integrate it.
Yeah, and make it feel like something we always do, because we have like kind of our own routine, which is great because we have something to look forward to all the time, And then once we headed to the place, we were just like, just getting tea, and next thing you know, like my friends showed up a little bit earlier, and some of them were gonna be late, and I was like, oh, we gotta stall, and we gotta like make sure everyone's there.
Did you know as we parked that you were stalling?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it's
Like
so
the
funny.
moment,
Oh my
dude. Here's the
God.
thing.
This was so
I
funny.
got to the parking lot and I was like, oh, my car is too big for this spot. Let me back up and do all these things just to like kill time. And like I was like, oh, I still can't fit. Let me go back and fix it.
Did you notice?
Okay, so I didn't remember that, but I just knew, okay, that Kane was thirsty, okay, and that he wanted to get a drink first. But Kane's like, no, man, like, let's go back to the car, and like, he just
Yeah.
wanted to film his dance video first. Because did you know that some of your friends were already in Nest?
Yeah, so the plan was to get there,
They were
film the
arguing,
dance video, then go and do the proposal after the dance video.
Yeah.
But Kane was like, "Oh, let's go inside where my friends were already waiting there." And I'm like, "Oh my god, this is going to be so bad." But luckily only one guy was there with his fiance. And then I just kind of played it off like, "Oh, what's up, Chad? What are you doing here?" You know?
But then my friend that works at Nest and her boyfriend were both sitting next to them, but they didn't know that they were both a part of the proposal.
Yeah.
So I thought that was so funny. Like, I was like, were you guys talking to each other? And they're like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I just started talking to like our newly engaged friends, you
Yeah.
know, and then that's all. I was just trying to get my
because
drink.
we were actually waiting for Joe to show up.
We had to
Because
stop
Joe
and
had
Jess
to do something at home,
Yeah.
and then we're like, okay, well, we'll just go inside, get some drinks, wait for Joe. And then I was like, okay, he's almost here, so it's time to go film the dance video. So I'm like, all right, let's go outside. And as we're going outside, I looked to my left, and my other friend was like hiding in the corner. I was like, oh my god, like you guys are all here and like just hiding. I hope she doesn't see.
Yeah.
So then we went over, and luckily she didn't see anyone. And then we just did the thing, and then it happened. And then all the friends came out and surprised her.
How did it once you like proposed and stuff, like how did you feel after? Did you feel like, oh man, so much relief?
Oh, lots of relief, because now I don't have to hide anything
Yeah.
anymore,
Did-
because
did-
I had to hide it.
Did you really didn't like? There's nothing like that kind of gave it away. or
No,
anything?
like okay, the first thing that I thought was weird is when they were by the car, Kane and Can, and excuse me. So they were like, you know, disagreeing on whether we should go into Nez. Kane's like, yeah, let's go into Nez, and then he's like, no, like, you know, let's do the video first. And I was like, okay, like maybe it's because Can wants the video on our anniversary a certain way, but I also thought it was a little weird. But it wouldn't make me speculate and think, okay, he's gonna propose to me, that's why, you know. So we just went to Nest. I wanted my drink first too, like heck, okay, I'll drink my Nest. So I went in there, and I did also think that that was funny that, you know, that couple, and then my really good friend and her boyfriend were sitting next to each other, but they weren't talking to each other. So I was like, okay, nothing weird. But when he did go out to do his dance video, I think it was a little weird that Chad and Jolene, like, they went out, and I kept saying bye to them. They're like, oh, we're not leaving yet. But it seemed like they were, but they were trying to like pull away and like disperse. But then they came back, you know.
They kind of just wanted to watch us do the thing.
So that was, you know, so it made sense. Like, Chad was just filming your first dance. But when you were doing your second dance, all I could think is like, oh no, Can, you're putting me on the spot, and now you're going to make me dance something that I don't know. You're going to make me dance, Can. But then you proposed to me. So it was totally not what I thought at all. I was just scared you were going to put me on the spot, and then Kane was going to film a dance video of me and you.
I totally should have.
Yeah.
And then propose after she's like all like, oh, I feel like an
You
idiot.
would
It's
have
like,
confused all our friends hiding though. You know, my favorite moment was when I looked back and I realized this was a proposal, because I saw all my friends walking closer, and I literally wanted to cry. I was so happy. I'm like, oh, Can, you couldn't have picked like the, you know, like, this was perfect. I thought the proposal was perfect.
So finding the spot was actually not that hard at all, because most people would pick like a beautiful spot to propose to, and it's just one-on-one kind of.
Yeah.
That's like a very common way to do it. And I was like, but we don't ever go anywhere else except for this place.
It's just been
So
that
it's
giveaway.
like, dude, if I went somewhere with her that was different, she would have been like, oh, this is cool, you know. She might have think that, but then I was like, nah, it can't be at any other place,
I would
because there's
probably
too much
think that it's
sentimental
alright.
value at this spot, you know.
And I think for you guys too, like, you guys are pretty simple people. Like, I don't see that type of proposal for you guys, at least. Like, dude, you guys are just very simple people. You guys appreciate the really small things in life too, man. And yeah, just I mean, it makes that I would for you guys, I would definitely say, yo, Nest over any other like fancy
Right.
spot.
You have
yo,
to know us
that's-
to know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's very personal to us,
Yeah.
and only us, because like if anyone else were to do it, it would be weird.
Yeah, like dude,
Yeah.
if you're
Why are you doing it at a tea shop?
if you're like baller, like super into fancy stuff, man, like yeah, it doesn't make sense. But for you guys, like, dude, when we meet, we're always meeting at Nest.
Yes.
And we don't even plan to meet there. Sometimes
No.
we literally just run into each other there.
I know,
Yeah,
it's so
that's so
funny.
funny. I scare you sometimes. I just like go up from behind you and I'm like,
I was like, what the fuck?
because I see him through the window. I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes I just want to get away, but I mean, like, yeah, man, it actually like it's a nice surprise every single time I see you guys there because I'm not, actually, you know what? I'm not surprised when you guys are there, but but I just don't expect you at that time.
It feels good
know?
to see your friends come in, you know. Then that's the kind of place that Nest is like. It's a very good local spot where
Yeah.
you just come in there to relax, really, because
I love it.
you know, and to work too if you want.
Yeah.
But like the cool part about it is since it's a local spot, you always see the same people and the same friends come through, even though you don't plan to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's kind of weird these days because there's not too many spots. Like back in school, you used to run into your friends all the time, and you're like, "Hey, what's up?" But as you get older and older, that happens less and less
Yeah,
frequently.
that's true.
Because even when you're in your quote unquote college years, your early 20s, you might see each other while you're out, like at a club or a bar. But like as you get older, people stop doing that. Where do you really run into people these days? To be honest with you, right?
Yeah, probably at events where you have common interests, but
Yeah.
but you don't expect it at like really normal places like tea shops or like restaurants even. That's actually really rare. And like I think it's cool that we do find a one place where we're just drawn to, you know.
Yeah. So my question to you is, now
When
that
we
you guys
move?
are moving,
Yeah,
where
when
are
we
you guys gonna go? You're not gonna go Nest
That was
anymore.
good. That was a good segue.
That
You know,
was
one
great.
place that we're drawn to. So right now we're pretty drawn to Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
And
Hey, yeah.
yeah, that's just the spot because I feel like we've only been there. Well, I've been there, I think, like maybe 2 times or 3 times, and she's been there once.
Yeah.
And I like the vibe there, you know. I like the people there, even though they're like complete strangers. But everyone's super nice, especially our friend that's over there right now, and he's the guy that we're gonna be staying with for like 6 months or something like that. Yeah, there he
Sweet.
is. But he's a really cool dude. And yeah, I feel like in order for us to move anywhere, we have to know at least one really dope person, and that's the guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, because you want to have some
Got a dog.
sort of person to not fall back on, but really to like someone that you know that you can go to if you need help. You know what I mean?
Foundations,
Yeah,
yeah.
and not help as in like money wise or anything, just like someone you could talk to. You know, a friend.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I think that's so important sometimes, and that's one of the things I love about like my current situation in K-Town is just like I've gone back with my friend Jason. Like, dude, we've lived together for a long time, but we also used to work together back when I was in like college and stuff.
Wow.
So we go way back, and like just having a friend to like go, you know, grab dinner with or
Yeah,
do anything
yeah.
like that is awesome.
He
Cool.
has to go potty. You go potty?
No,
Yeah, he does.
I just took him out, but you can take him out.
Yeah.
Here, pause.
No. Yeah.
Pause. Let's continue. So we were talking about moving to Austin.
Austin, Texas. Well, did you before we jump into that? Were there any places that you were looking like before Austin, Texas, or?
Yeah. I was looking at different places in the 626 area in California because that's my favorite area in California.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really find much other than apartments though. And I didn't really want to live in an apartment.
Yeah. Is there a certain reason why not an apartment?
It's just the fact that the apartments all were like 1,500 or like up, and I didn't think it was worth it for an apartment. I've never lived in an apartment. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, but I also, as much as I love the 626 area, I also kind of wanted to move to Austin when I first visit. I really, really do like the vibe there, and I'm also always down to like move to random places.
Love it. Cool.
Yeah, because for me, it's like, yeah, we can afford a place in LA, but also at the same time, like, we've been living here for like the past 5 years, and it's nice to go somewhere else for a change, you know.
Yeah.
Just especially if you're in your mid 20s and you have the energy and the strength to like explore and do stuff, like this would be the best time to live somewhere completely new and try it out, you know.
Yeah, I totally relate to what you said because I feel like my biggest growth periods was when I moved, right? Like first time was moving to Hong Kong for like 6 months. I started a new life. I had a new girlfriend.
6 months too.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking cool.
That's crazy. 'Cause we're
Second
doing
time-
6 months too.
And you know what? Know what's really crazy? The second time was actually here in LA, right? And I was like, man, I want to meet some dope people that like I see on YouTube and stuff, and just meet really cool people out there.
That's funny.
Manifested it. Oh,
You
look what
did
happened.
it.
Like we became roommates.
Exactly.
And, shit,
And
too.
you know what's funny? You probably could have done this in any other state with a big city.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized, that LA is not the only spot with dope people.
No.
And LA is just, people just talk about it a lot, but really, like, I've lived here my whole life and have met the people that I've, you know, kind of am thankful to have met, but also like what about everyone else? There's like a whole world out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just LA. Like, there people can be creative but and come from anywhere, you know.
And you know what? I never even wanted to move to LA, to be honest
Oh
with
my
you.
gosh.
I just kind of actually landed here, you know,
Wow.
and it's cool. But you're right, Ken. Like, you can meet cool people everywhere. I've met cool people from like Arizona, really cool people from like Vancouver, like from like dude, there's cool people everywhere. But you're right. It's really the mindset that you bring into each place. you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Love it. Like when you guys are in like Austin, Texas, how does it make you feel? What's kind of like the vibe there? I've never been there before.
So both the times we went there, or I went there, was for this festival called South by Southwest, which is a super dope festival. There's like nothing like it at all. Like it's very unique, and it's filled with a lot of independent artists. So that's kind of where that whole vibe comes, where like everybody's here, everybody that's here is like trying to go somewhere. You know what I mean? So when you're filled with a bunch of people that are motivated and inspired to create, like you kind of feel that energy from people when you talk to people. You know what I mean? So that, I feel like that vibe right there alone in Austin is like really dope to even have. And especially like, we also stayed there even after the festival was over, and we hung out with our friend who we're moving in with. He's a super cool dude and very chill, and he kind of like showed us what Austin was really about, and we like that. You know, it's not like so intense where you have to worry about so many things. It's like actually kind of fits our lifestyle a little bit more. Like, we love board games, right? We love having tea. Like, we love like simple stuff, right? And if you can live a life and just have those simple things, like that's what makes us happy. And you can have that in Austin.
Yeah, I feel like Austin is one of those hidden gems of the U.S. because there's a huge actually tech community out there, huge startup community as well.
For sure.
Yeah, and it's just like you're right. Like all those, like it sounds like it kind of fits your lifestyle. But you know what? When you guys said Austin, Texas too, I wasn't like, whoa, they're moving to Austin, Texas. I was like, you know what? They are more chill people. They're kind of like, it does fit their lifestyle quite a bit.
Yeah, and another thing is, like, the difference between Austin and LA is really just well, one is the people, but also the amount of people too. That's another thing to consider, right? So here there's just so many people. I mean, there's traffic in any big city, honestly, but here there's so many people, right? And you're living in a different environment when there's a lot of people. Like, you know, hands down, versus going to a place where there's not a lot of people, it feels completely different. And it's not even the type of people, because there's nice people everywhere, there's mean people everywhere. You know, it's not even that. It's just the amount. You know, so when you go to Austin, it's still a city and there's a good amount of people, but there's not like so much where they have these extra rules and laws just for these people. You know what I mean? Because like with, for example, in LA, like parking lots and parking, and it's so terrible because it's just congested. That's the only reason. You know what I mean? And like little things like that, because that's not a huge thing, but it's just a little thing like it just bothers you. You know what I mean? Or it bothers people.
It's debilitating, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like when I after spending some time here in LA, at first I didn't think the traffic was that bad, but it grows on you.
Yeah.
And
Dude, it's a lot of time spent in the car doing nothing.
yes, yes. And when I moved back to Boston for just like 3 weeks, I was just like, dude, this
Yeah.
lifestyle's pretty freaking good. Like I don't have to
Yeah.
wait in traffic. I can just like there's a lot of dope spots out
Almost
here.
Yeah, and especially it really depends on your lifestyle because
Yeah.
some people like the busyness, some people
Yeah.
like being, around a lot of people because they draw energy from that, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I feel pretty okay with a decent amount of people. It doesn't have to be too crowded for no reason,
Yeah.
you know? Like, for example, like, since we do like simple things, like, why do we have to be in such a busy place? Like, if you notice, like, we've always lived outside of LA. We never lived directly like downtown.
LA, yeah.
Because there's no way like I could live like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I could, but I wouldn't like it. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah. If all the times like I've known you, you've always lived like in kind of like suburbia. For the
Yeah,
most part.
and here's the thing, what we crave in California, you can get in Austin for much less of a price, and like the living expenses in Austin is way lower
Yeah.
than here. And for example, for gas,
Mm-hmm.
like that's already one thing. It is a very small thing, but it adds up,
Mm-hmm.
And like food, you can get healthy food out there
Yeah.
for not that much, like at all compared to here, where you have to pay a premium if you want to go to like Whole Foods or something,
Yeah.
Whereas over there, it's like there's probably farmers markets all over the place,
That makes a lot of sense.
and like just buying a house too. So that's another thing that kind of drew me to Austin was like, if you're thinking long-term goals, right? Besides the experience, besides the people and whatever, right? All those goals, there's also long-term goals. And then I thought about, well, if I live here, pay for an apartment or whatever for like over 1,000 or maybe even 2,000 a month, it starts to add up, and you're spending so much on just living here that you can save up for a house here, but it's going to take way longer, and the longer you wait, it's going to be more expensive.
Mhm.
But if I can lower my expenses, make the same amount in Austin, I could save up faster for a house over there
Yeah.
because it's cheaper over there,
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So it sounds like to me it kind of like fits your long-term goals, fits the short-term goals, fits your
And the
lifestyle.
pacing,
And the pacing too. Yeah, that makes sense why you're moving over there. But I can't help but ask, like, how are you feeling? Like, because you guys are moving there quite soon.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like how are you feeling with the whole like move and all that?
I feel like I feel happy because it's a big change, but I also want to move there because I'll be a good distance away from LA and a good distance away from Indianapolis, which is where my family is, and the flights are under 200
Yeah.
round trip for Indiana and then from Austin to LA. So that is my main woohoo for living in Austin.
Yeah, and that's super dope because
Super dope. I go
When-
home all the time.
yeah, because first of all, the airport here sucks.
It does. Anxiety.
So
I got anxiety just from that airport alone.
Missing your flights and all that. Dude,
Yeah.
I've done
so
that
it's-
before.
so now that headache's out of the way,
LAX.
she can be closer to her family, and if I want to visit my family, it's not that bad of a flight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because my family's here, her family's over there,
Yeah.
and she would always visit. So she
Always.
frequents LAX, right? So imagine going through that headache over and over every single year.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It sucks. But now that we're gonna be in Austin, it's basically we're gonna have a lot less headaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically, from the move, I feel like Can and I will be able to be more a part of each other's lives because, like, let's say for example, for like my birthday and stuff, maybe you had to like perform a day before, and then you're like, okay, well, I can't make it out to your birthday, but I feel like it's easier now that it's so cheap to go there. Or when my grandma passed away, and like you kind of wanted to be there for the funeral, but it's just like really expensive, like LA to Indiana. I don't know why.
Especially on
It's like,
short notice.
yeah, it's like always like $500 to $1,000. It's expensive, But I think that we'll have a lot more time together now because of living in Austin. We're gonna love it. I'm fingers crossed. I'm gonna love
And
it.
here's another cool thing,
Yeah.
right? Because we like to explore and travel together.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be cheaper to fly to other states surrounding Texas because we're right in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of going from West Coast to East Coast, which costs more.
Yeah,
We're in the
Mhm.
middle, so every flight's gonna be like 100 to 200 round trip.
damn.
Isn't that sick?
I never even thought about
Isn't
that
that
before.
sick?
Yeah.
Because like every single time I go back home, I'm like, damn it. Like
Exactly. But imagine
You're
if you live right in the
further.
middle,
Yeah.
right, where it's still dope. But
Yeah.
now, if you want to go, let's say, for example, we want to go Louisiana. That's just the next state over. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Which
Like,
I also have
random-
family there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Do you think pieces of you would ever like miss LA? I guess though.
I think so. I
Yeah.
won't know until I'm actually there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
I really like the mountains here and the nature, but living here is quite annoying. But I definitely love a lot of people in this place.
Yeah.
I love a lot of people here.
Kind of curious, Bree, because Ken, you're native here, right? So you're born here.
You're
But-
in it too.
But Bree, like, what did you originally come out here for, and do you feel like you've gotten that? Like,
I originally came out here for modeling, to be near Can as well, and because I wanted to grow away from my family, because I was like 18, or I just turned 19,
yeah.
right? So I just turned 19.
you'll always be that 19-year-old in my
Yeah,
mind.
that's so funny. When I got proposed to, Joe and Jess are like, "Well, how old are you now? Because you're always 19 to me."
Yeah.
It's so funny, man. No, but I just turned 24, June 17th. But so yeah, I came out here for all that. I did a lot of music videos. I did a lot of modeling, and I can still do that in Austin. I can still come back, for that cheap ticket price. But yeah, I feel like I did everything. But living out here, it started to become so lonely. Missing a lot of family time. Even though I go back a lot, there's still time like in between those few months that I just miss things and I hate it.
That
So, but I am proud of myself. I'm proud of myself that I even like moved in such a big place coming from such a suburb in Indiana.
Yeah, one of the cool things about you guys right now, as I'm like listening to your story, is that a lot of people would kind of fight the change. Like they would be just like, you know what, this place sucks, like, and never move, right? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people would be like that.
Yeah.
But one thing that I realized, like with you guys after listening to you guys, is that you guys are so adaptable. You know what I mean? And I think you guys move with the change, and now that you guys have each other, it's just like you guys have a strong relationship foundation, and it's now on to the next chapter of your life, man.
Yeah, and actually, now that we're about to get married, it feels like we're a team even more than
Yeah.
before. So now you're not alone in this move. You're not alone when something's going on, because you have someone that you can always like
Yeah.
count on, pretty much. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it feels like once you add on to that teamwork factor, you can take on way more challenges in life.
Yeah. Do you feel like a lot more empowered now? I guess?
I do, because now like even little things like having a yard sale, putting together like stuff to prepare for the
We
move.
did
I
all
feel
that
like
together. It
a
was
lot of
fun.
it, like I would have been so lazy if it was just me doing it. You know what I mean? But now that we have something together that we're looking forward to, it helps me be more productive and
Yeah.
like work harder for something, because now you have something to work for.
Yeah. Love it. On that note, I think we should probably wrap up and end it. Yeah, man. I just thought it would be just so cool because, throughout like my time on YouTube, I have like random moments with you guys, like like you just going out at the old
Fun
Whittier
times,
house, the Spyglass house, and now like as you guys are transitioning, I thought it'd be just really cool just to kind of document this time, in your life, and just to capture you right after you guys got engaged and right before you just had
Oh
out,
yeah,
man.
I'm definitely gonna be watching this.
Yeah, dude. You know what though? Like there is a piece of me which is kind of little sad, man, to see you guys leave, but also very happy just to see you go on to the next
same
period.
here, because we have so many friends here now that, and even friends that we just met recently that we were
Yeah.
so cool with. Now we feel kind of bad for leaving, but also really excited. So it's like very conflicting feelings. But I know that even
still
if we're
see them.
gone and we're in a different state, we're still gonna come back. Like we're
Yeah.
literally coming back in September.
Bro, I'll tell you,
Here.
I'll tell you this, like right now is a really cool time because like if we were born like even 20 years before the whole internet thing, man, like we didn't have FaceTime, we didn't have Facebook Messenger, we didn't have Zoom and stuff. Like, dude, I literally built out my whole sales team through the internet, man.
Yeah,
And,
you don't always have to be physically there.
And
to,
we're-
yeah.
and we're like this, dude. We're like
Mhm.
this, and we barely even see each other. But
Mhm.
I think it's
Oh,
just
we're like family though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like you were the coolest person, like one of the coolest people I've roomed with. Because
Oh.
even when Can would go to like practice all
Yeah.
the time when we lived together,
yeah.
Kevin would come home probably tired from work too. But you're like, Bree, let's get some snacks or something. And I'm like, okay, like you're like some cool brother.
Yeah.
It's always felt like that.
That was really cool times, man. Like we used to like even at the end of the Spyglass days, man. Like we were hanging out all the time. I was like, fuck, dude. I just want to enjoy that time with you guys. We were like we have
That
like
was a
videos
fun
of us riding our spy.
Dude, you know what's
yeah.
funny though? We still hang out even after we lived apart.
Yeah,
like,
we actually hang
pretty
out more.
often
We hang
than-
out more with you than we do with Brandon or like Joe or anything.
or even the previous roommates.
Dang.
yeah,
we
the-
probably hang out
you know
with
when
you
we
the most.
randomly meet up with you at Nest
Yeah.
or run into you, and then
Yeah.
the times we actually plan to hang, we actually hang out with you the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Probably.
crazy.
Yeah, but like for me, it's just like you guys hold a special place in like my heart, I guess. Like because we've been roommates, we've gone through so much. Like we're just on each other's like the same wavelength most of the time. You guys push me, and I do the same too. Like I was like, dude, you gotta get this. You gotta get your dance videos out, Ken. Like,
Aw, yeah,
dude,
he's
yeah,
so
man.
supportive.
yeah, man.
You actually helped me a lot to see things in a different way, and like
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't tell you how thankful I am for you to be a part of my life,
Yeah.
because there's no way I can like measure it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. On that note, let's do shameless plugs, man. Like
All
that.
right.
That's let's do
I have
shameless
no
plugs.
shame. I'll plug it without shame.
Plug it without shame.
Okay, well, first of all, you got to check out her work, her modeling work.
Okay, my Instagram is Breena Ylaya, BREENAYYL. Aya.
Hey,
Breena.
Breena Ylaya.
Yeah, it's Breena Ylaya. And then my Instagram is can.poreotics, and that's can.poreotics. And I also have a Patreon that I'm working on right now with weekly dance tutorials, because, you know, I did that daily dancing stuff, so now I'm going down to weekly stuff. And this is going to be a pretty big project that I'm going to be focusing on after my 365 challenge.
Yeah.
So check it out before, you know, it gets all crazy. And that's going to be patreon.com/youcanmove.
Okay, let me plug Ken a little bit more, guys. If you guys are interested in dance and you want someone who actually really cares about his students, man, you gotta look at Ken's stuff. It's really not that much money, dude. Support him. He's a really great guy. And he's like, dude, he's very humble. He hasn't said he's a world-class dancer, but he really is. I mean, me and Bree will like to
I am
his
like his biggest fangirl. Like I love him so much. I'm the biggest Can fan in the world. When I see him perform, I cry all the time. Like it's so cute.
So if you're even remotely interested in dance, just check out his stuff, man. Support him. All right, he's the true homie. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming on the podcast. I had such a great time, man. Just like connecting, sitting down, just chatting. I mean, like honestly, we would have had this chat anyways. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Thanks for being a part of it, guys.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for watching, everybody. Make sure you keep on watching Kevin's stuff.
Yes.
All
Stay
right.
inspired and try to move your feet.
Yes.
All right. On that note, let's head out. Peace.
Get some
Let's go get some tea.
Say bye, Franklin.
Nice. Let me see where this person's at right now.
Hey, Franklin. His Instagram is Hey Franklin. So like Franklin with a W.
He's like not amused, man. Look at his
So
eyes.
please follow him. Doggy sponsor.
So funny.
Mwah.